Right.
What is happening, sis?
A lot is happening.
We have all been sitting here bearing witness to the dysfunction.
Yes.
Amongst the group, amongst your family.
Yeah.
Which started late last year. Well, it didn't start late last year.
No, because keep in mind, Tiggy, you know, the last time they came up here, I think my sister was up here apologizing to Kandi. I wasn't even here, you remember? I wasn't even here. And then the second time they came, I wasn't here. Y'all could have invited me.
We would have loved to have had you there.
I don't think you were not invited. I think the group was invited, and we were surprised when you didn't show up.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
So,
never knew.
So I keep... What I'm hearing is that you don't be getting the memo on a lot of stuff. Like you didn't get the memo on the Soul Train Awards outfit.
No.
Is that really what happened? Like break it down.
That is really what happened. The stylist that I have was working along with with I don't even want to say his name. Escapes stylist.
Okay.
You know. And so no, my stylist kept texting like, what's the colors, what's going on? And nothing. Just I think he said something about maybe a gown or something long. That was it. No color scheme, nothing. When we got to Vegas, I take Tiny to the side and like, hey, what's the colors? Nobody's told me anything. She's like, man, we trying to figure it out. We don't really know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got this and that. I'm like, okay, well, what's the colors? I think Meek got a red dress. What you wearing? I said, I got like an olive golden dress. She was like, okay, that's not too far from me. I got silver. I think I'm wearing nude. So nobody knew what it was. I'm talking about this is the night before. And I said to her, I said, well, at the end of the day, at least on stage, we're going to be a unit.
Okay.
With the gold. I already knew what that was. I'm like, sometimes on red carpets, people can wear different things as long as it looks popping. So, and that's what it was. And when I got on the red carpet, I was like, well, wait, all of y'all got on the same color. What is that?
So before it even got to that point, though, like it was like you were doing some shows, not doing, other shows like the tour. They were doing tour in different cities, and it was. They said, well, I hear it was because your husband Rocky was beefing with the promoter or something.
No.
Is that true? Or
no,
what?
My husband actually brought the promoter to the group, and this was prior to Kandi coming back to the group. So, no, we had shows lined up that she said no to. The only two shows that she said she was going to do was the one in South Carolina and the one in Atlanta, of which she did not do either, her or Tiny, because they had the COVID. But no, I didn't miss any shows. It was not that in the beginning. I was on every show. There was a conflict with the promoter who tried to get, a little irate, and my husband was like, we're not going. He wanted us to make up a show when he got all of the money from the box office. He used Escape's name on both shows. The South Carolina, nobody got refunds. Nobody gave them money back, nothing. And so when it came time to the second show, he begged my husband, hey, can you please, even though Tiny and Kandi can't come, can you please let your wife and your sister-in-law get on the stage? I can't. This is Atlanta. This is $1 million box office at this point.
Right.
We get on the stage, we do what we got to do, and then he comes back to say, hey, y'all got to do a makeup show in a whole different city, and I'm not going to pay the girls. It was a lot. And my husband was like, well, first of all, my wife is not going to get on stage because you made the money. And we got receipts for that. But no, I never wanted to. But when he threatened my husband, I'm not comfortable with going somewhere when my husband is threatened. I'm very not comfortable. And I told the girls that, like, let's pick a different promoter, and we're cool. I can go on the road. But now they're still with the promoter, so.
What is at the root of all of this? Because it seems like we're getting through the TV show and the reality series, a lot more history, a lot more insight.
Yeah.
And it seems like this is a long-standing thing. How and why, like, in your opinion, if there is one thing you can hang it all on, what is the one thing that continues to be an issue amongst the group?
I just think we have differences of opinion and we don't communicate. We never sit down and talk about things. It's not that. It's always talking to someone else, going to someone else, and by the time it comes back, everybody has their own opinion, and it gets out of hand. Now, when we signed up, I want to say for myself, when I signed up for this show, all it was about was going on tour, singing, 30 years in the game,
right, with
another group, SWV, who's a super group to me.
Right.
So even when Coco and I talk, she's like, oh, this is just crazy. Like, we never thought it would be this, I promise you. And it's like, once the television comes on, once we start filming, boom, there's one thing after the next.
Yeah, because the first episode was like fireworks, and I hate that. I have sisters or whatever, and I don't like division in families. It's just not a good feeling. So to see you and your sister kind of at odds is uncomfortable to even watch. I mean, this whole thing of your husband and you taking $30,000 from her, like, please help me understand it.
Now, that is not true. I would never steal from my sister. And it's questionable because, keep in mind, all this time we have been doing shows. We have sold out tours. So if anything would have happened, why didn't you come? Sister, I'm your sister, and I'm just hearing it on a testimonial. Never heard anything like this. So what is this? And I'm being attacked every day. So I get it, you know, it's the tricks of TV, you know. It's just a monster out there.
So when she confronted you about it in that scene with you and your mom, you know, she was basically saying that your mom always sides with you. Do you feel like you're your mom's favorite?
No, I do not. People didn't even, what you guys didn't, you didn't see the whole thing. All you saw was what...
Yeah, because it felt like y'all got quiet and it was kind of like, oh, I didn't know it was going there.
No, it was so many other things that were said. There was so much disrespect. My sister said so many different things. And when it comes to my family, Tigger, you know that I don't put my family business in the street. That's something that we talk about behind closed doors. My mother's always taught us that. That's the bond that you have. If we want to shake the tables at home, we shake the tables at home. If we want to fuss and fight, that's what we do. But when we come outside those doors, it's love. And we just didn't get to that part. We just never got to show the love that we actually have. And my mother does not show favoritism, but does she get on to both of us? Yes. If you notice in that scene, my mom was like, hey, I don't care what nobody say. Y'all, she was talking to both of us. So, but, you know, that's my little sister at the end of the day. She's always been that one, you know, to talk back and do certain things. So this is nothing new to us. But the way our dynamics are, you guys don't understand. My mother is the one to put her foot down. She says what it is, and we get through it. But now we've never had these problems. We've never had any problems like this. Not to this extent. All right.
So much. I mean, okay.
Go ahead, Tia. Come on.
So in the Tia, it came across my desk, and I had a report on the fact that there was allegedly an outside child with Rocky. Is that true?
There's no child. There's no outside child at all.
Okay.
And see, that's the thing when people hear things, they go straight. Like, oh yeah, it's true. We've been convicted. I mean, since day one, I have been. Y'all don't understand? I've been attacked. It's been ongoing. I've not been out of the media every day, and I'm like, what is all of this for? Why me? But like like I said before, a lot of things I go through, and it's not just for me. Just like this music. I've been through a lot, so now I'm able to share that with the world.
Well, I know this morning in the TI, we talked about, Kandi was on Watch What Happens Live, and she kind of ran down receipts of how many songs she sang lead on.
Okay.
And she was defending something that you said. You said, back in the day, in '98, I wanted to do a solo project. I think everybody was happy for me except for Kandi. And you said, for some reason, my project got shelved, and it was in the same time frame that Kandi signed and got her album to come out. And you felt that it was a little bit odd, and the timing was a little bit weird for you. What is the beef there? Like, do
wait.
Kandi
said you needed to take it up with JD. Have you ever taken it up with JD?
No, I have not taken it up with JD. I have not.
And do you really feel like Kandi has that kind of power to shelve your album?
I just said it was very odd that in the beginning, I've always said I wanted to do something. She came and was like, oh no, you shouldn't be able to do that. Like, you're going to leave, you're never going to come back. And I said, that is not true. I definitely want to do something. I've always wanted to sing. And she was like, you're not coming back, you're not coming back. Then she gets the record deal. She never wanted the record deal. I wanted it. I said what it was. She was upset. She goes to get one. I had mine with So Def. And all of a sudden, her album comes out, mine is shelved. At the time, she and Jermaine had a very great relationship because they were partners. And so you would feel jaded.
What kind of partners? Like business partners?
No, they was getting it in. They were a couple. They were an item. They were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was what it was. And so I felt like, what is happening here? I've talked about it. You were upset about it, but now you're doing it. So yeah, anybody would feel sort of like, oh wait, but you didn't want me to have one, but you got one. Yours came out, mine didn't, and it was like, oh, it was like that.
So Tasha, let me ask you, 30 years later, do you wish you were never in the group?
No, that's not true. I created it. I know the name, Escape, all of that stuff comes from me. I spearheaded that. That's my baby. So no, I don't want to.
Anything could be different over the last 30 years. What would be different? What would you wish was different?
That we actually sat down and said what was on our minds. That really spoke from our hearts, because we never did that. When I say never did that, everybody had their, oh, we're going to talk to this. We never sat down. And then to have somebody who kind of understood the business to kind of keep things intact. We just never had that. I was the oldest.
I mean, the group will be here tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you could sit down and talk to them and say anything to them, what would you even say? Like, what's the conversation?
When we talk about our legacy, and when we think about the fans, let's really keep that in mind and not get so caught up in self. I mean, I'm talking about me included. You know, it's like when you think about how many people have talked about how we've gotten them through with the music, how a lot of people who've come to me and say, you know, I was going to take my life. So this is deeper than just us having this on the surface, you know, and we just got to get past it. At the end of the day, I think that we will. I really do.
I pray that you guys do.
I've been praying about that every night, actually, to see how this is going to pan out. With this show, sometimes when people are put in front of the camera and they say things and they spew out lies, who cares about the truth when the lie is so entertaining? It's just so entertaining. It's so much to be like, oh, well, I can say this and people will believe it.
What do you feel like the biggest lie was for you? Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot. And a lot of things in the scenes that you guys are not seeing. There was one scene in particular that I actually sat down to talk about business, talk about how I felt. Even with Kandi and our conversation, I told her, I said, listen, I was there for it when your baby was born, like for you, texting you, making sure you were cool. I was there at all of her events. When she was on the front cover of Essence, I was the only group member there. When she did her play, I wanted to show support, but I never nobody reciprocates that with me. But listen, I've done my part. That's all I can do at the end of the day. But no, it's a lot of things that are not even being shown in the light that it's supposed to be shown. All y'all see is me sitting in the room, I'm looking upset, but not knowing that we just had arguments. My mom and my sister gotten into it, and like I said, my family comes first.
Right.
That's right.
So it's very hurtful even now to see my mother being dragged.
Well, LaTocha,
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, it's okay.
we appreciate
I'm talking about literally being dragged.
the honesty and transparency this morning. We want to lift you up and celebrate the album, which is what we're here to do, the invitation, a conversation with God on April 7th. Is that relationship with God helping you through all this?
Definitely. Definitely, you know, what people fail to realize is that's the strength, that's my refuge.
There you go.
The music is that as well, and it helps me because that's my therapy to be able to get through things. And so, yeah.
Well, God is a healer, and He is able to do the impossible.
Yes.
And so we're praying that God can mend this relationship,
Right.
Sisterhood,
Yes.
and that you all will be on one accord very soon.